Linda Barcz from the Bruce Company is here taking your plant and garden questions at 270-9933. Happy New Year, Linda.
Happy New Year, Mark.
It's going to be a better one, right?
Yes, it is.
All right, we'll start with Tom in Madison. Hi, Tom. Go ahead with your question. Tom, you there? Tom? Tom is not there. Let's go to our next caller. I don't have a name, but you have a question about geraniums.
Hello?
Hello? You have a question about geraniums?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I brought in one of my really pretty geraniums. I cut it all down, dug it out of the ground, and I put it in a pail, and I put a cover over it and put it down in my basement. And now when I went downstairs, it's already growing and sprouting. Is that going to be any good for the summer when I wanted to put it back outside?
Well, when you said that you covered it, I expected that you'd find that it had all rotted. If it's starting to grow, if you have a sunroom, some people overwinter certain annuals, and geranium is one of them. They get leggy and don't perform very well, but then you cut them back and move them outside once we're past danger of frost, and then they'll do just fine. They're a little slow to start, but if you love that geranium, hang on to it.
All right.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thanks for the call. Our next caller has a question about roses in winter. Go ahead.
Hi. I'd like to know about knockout roses, if they should be covered with straw or hay.
Okay, knockout roses were developed that they have a flower that resembles a hybrid tea, but they aren't budded onto a root system. So that plant, I generally in the winter, I make sure that before the snow comes, I have a nice layer of wood mulch to protect the roots, but you don't have to do rose cones or anything like that because they are growing on their own roots. So if they were to die back to the ground, the new plant that grows will still be a knockout rose.
Okay.
So I didn't cover it, but is that all right?
That's all right. We've got snow covered. This is the best protection you can have. If the snow melts off and we have a January thaw, make sure it has a nice wood mulch over at the base of it. That would be good.
Okay.
But not hay or straw.
No, not hay or straw.
No.
Okay. All right, let's go to Diane in Sun Prairie. Hi, Diane. What's your question?
Hi. I have a geranium that I got for Mother's Day in May, and I've had it indoors the whole time. It's growing, but at the tip ends of some of the leaves, it's turning brown and crisp. Gardenia. I'm sorry. It's a gardenia.
Gardenia. Oh, all right. Yeah, well, gardenias, they can develop issues with different kinds of fungal blights. So pick off the black areas that look like that. And gardenias make pretty decent houseplants. Give it as much sun as you possibly can, and don't overwater it.
Okay.
I have it under lights.
Oh, all right.
And I'm using the fertilizer that's supposed to be for blooms, and that seems to stimulate the growth.
It will, and what will be nice is if once we have longer days, then the plant will be able to utilize that. Fertilize as you've been doing it, but I'm just starting to fertilize my hibiscus because I'm starting to see some growth on it. Prior to this, it was just sitting there basically just hanging in. It's a plant that I brought in from outside, so that's a little bit different.
All right, let's go to Nancy in Stoughton. Hi, Nancy. What's your question?
I have a question about my amaryllis. I've got 6 big leaves, but I don't see the shoot for the blossom to come up. Do you think it's in there, or is this a dud?
Unfortunately, in my experience, if the leaves come first, and especially that much foliage before it flowers, that means it's not going to flower for you this season. If it's something that you've held over from last year, the bulb just hadn't rebuilt adequately enough, or if it's from a store, you've got to be careful. Get good size amaryllis bulbs. The ones that are dwarf amaryllis, those bulbs are smaller. But if you're expecting the full size, that's a good size bulb to begin with, 4 or 5 inches.
Yeah, it is. All right, we are out of time. Thank you all for calling in. Linda, thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, well, first one for the new year out of the way.